Can I just say, like, just for the sake of this video, um, how we met? Just because I think that in itself is really interesting, right? So we met at the 40 under 40 gala. We happened to be seated at the same table. You presented yourself as a business coach. I presented myself as both in my role as in business development at the time because I was still at the university, but also with my coach hat. Since anytime I hear a coach, I'm like, I'm one too. So we started to chat. But what I find fascinating, and this has happened on so many occasions in my life, and I'm sure it's happened to you because of the nature of who you are, we like quickly connected, right? We connected on LinkedIn and then we're like, hey, do you want to like go for coffee? I was like, yeah, let's go for coffee. And we went for coffee in July. And then I think the fact that we both showed up for that coffee, having really not known, we don't know each other.
Yeah.
And we like went into like, do you remember like the first 45 minutes pretty much was like a deep dive on like, here is my entire life story. And like,
True.
it's like you went down like how you got to where you got. I went that you came out with like your questions about coaching and like we're really vulnerable about like, I don't know, like, should I get certified in this or should I do this or should I do that? And like, you were just like really kind of putting it out there. And then I kind of was showing up, I think the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's what formed this kind of like trusted partnership. And then we met again and then went back deep dive in it too. I'm sure it's because I bought you coffee first, but that doesn't matter. And then, and now here we are, right? And I honestly think it's because of the level of vulnerability and just like complete realness. Like we're just putting everything out on the table. Like you told me your rates, I've told you mine. Like we're just like talking about stuff and
Yeah.
trying to see like how can we help each other? And I think that's really, really amazing. And it just to show that you can form that with just about not I won't say anybody, but like you don't have to have these people built into your circle right now. It
Yeah.
it can happen tomorrow. It can happen after tomorrow if you put yourself out there and are open to conversations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Is you have to put yourself out there. And that in the last few months, like that's what I've been focusing on a lot. Like I've been networking, I've been connecting with so many people, having lots of one-on-ones and putting myself into these positions that I'm like, okay, even the 40 under 40, I'm like, hey, I'm going by myself. I'm going to walk in
Yeah.
and talk to whoever. And hopefully I know one or two people at the table. And I actually showed up at the wrong table initially and they're like, yeah, you're at the wrong table. So I had to move, over, but it's some like there, I mean, I've done a lot of sales in my life and like, that's a lot of my earlier career. So like learning how to speak to people, that's like a really big piece of what we do. And I always joke to everybody, I'm like, if you haven't worked in sales, do it for like at least a few months of your life. Like that is such an
Totally.
important tool, right? In a communication,
Yeah.
learning how to speak. But yeah, you just have to be open. And like I've just, it sounds ridiculous, but it's like, it goes back to like the manifestation and visualization, like
Mhm.
all of that world that I'm also really into. It's like just like opening yourself up for possibilities and opportunities. But I can sit here in my office and be like, yeah, I'm open, but I have to physically go to these places and even like my stance, my facial expressions, like there's so much
Yeah.
more to it because I could sit there and totally be shut off and have a resting face that doesn't look so nice, and I'm aware that I can do that. And so I try and go in with a little bit more like positivity and a little bit more like showing this like energy and this light that I do try and like naturally bring, but it's like you have to work on that as well because people are going to gravitate towards you if you're like looking like you're happy and you look like you're enjoying life versus just being miserable. Like no one wants to be around a miserable person. So it's like presenting yourself such, but again putting yourself in these opportunities to again be real in who you are and connect with people. And so it's like people sort of get you draw people naturally when you are yourself again, and if you're more of a positive person. And I know that it's not for everybody. Not everybody is that can be positive, but I think it's a skill. And like a lot of these things that I've worked on over the last like 10-15 years these are skills that I've had to learn, and like even just motivating myself. Like I joke, I have motivational quotes all over my house because I have to motivate myself. Nobody else is going to be sitting there, rubbing my back and telling me I'm doing a good job, especially, now that I'm on my own. So it's like I have to find these ways to do that and make sure that I'm like, okay, I'm, why I'm doing this, who I'm doing this for, and like really just being happy with the work that I'm doing. And like again, it goes back to again feeling good about everything and how you present yourself.
And one thing I was thinking about when you were talking about the openness, being open and like body language and all that, one thing that I see all the time, and I make a very conscious effort not to do this thing, and I struggle with it like anyone else probably would, is to come into an event by yourself and just like look at your phone and look busy,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone does this
Yes.
because they're like, the minute some people go away or there's nowhere, you're like, well, let me just look like I was intentionally here and I was about to like respond to this very important message that I received. But when the minute you do that, you close off. Like that is a physical closure that you are putting around you. And so I know, like when I walked, because I just came back from an event too, where I went completely by myself, and I had to like keep that thing tucked away because I was like, if I walk around like that, no one's gonna come up to me. But if I'm walking around with my glass of wine and just like head up,
Yes.
like someone's bound to come talk to me, or I'm bound to find someone that I want to. Maybe I'll notice someone's interesting shoes or a purse or something unique, and then I can use that as an opportunity to comment and talk to that person and ask a question. So I think that's another big piece when it comes to starting your own business, that openness to network.
Yeah.
And some people will say, like, yeah, but you already had a network. It's like, no, but I built it, right? And I'm
Yeah.
still building.
Yeah. Yeah. And they say your network is your net worth. And I keep like replaying that in my head as like I'm
Mm,
about to like sign up for something else. I'm like, you know what? The more people that know about me and my offerings and
so
how I can
true.
support, it's like the better it is for hopefully me in the future state. So it's like just reminding yourself of why you're doing it. And at the end of the day, like everyone's trying to build a business or, is in business, trying to make money. Everyone needs to make a living. But again, it's like also putting yourself in the right networks. Like I feel like
Yeah.
there's been a few times that I'm like in places and I'm like was this a waste of time? Did I connect with anybody? And so it's like also preserving your energy for the right networking situations. And so I'm trying to be more mindful of that as well, that it's like yes, maybe there's a client here or there, but it's like, am I going to spend the next 2 hours, where I could have been, building up a marketing campaign or, doing something that was more productive with my time. So there's definitely a balance. And
Mhm.
I think Ottawa has been great for events and like it's just growing and it's really nice to see like the community and the supports that are happening. But I think that there's just so much opportunity for other events and creating more workshops and like even for coaches, like you and I connect with another, coach slash consultant. And like there's, creating this dynamic in this group of other like-minded people that in the same like therapists have sessions with other
Yeah.
therapists, right? To like support what are you
Mhm.
going through? And so it's like, maybe we create something like that, that it's like, how do we support other coaches through this? And like, once a month we get together over a glass of wine or, whatever. And I just like, there's just so much opportunity that also exists. Like again, it goes back to like social media, all the tools that we have at our fingertips. Like we're just beginning. And like with the content that we've been creating or individually and whatnot and like stuff that we're doing together, I think that there's just like I try to remind myself like this is just the beginning. And when I'm hard on myself, I'm like, oh, it's like a little bit slower, but it's like I'm putting in all of these tools and the foundation that I know I need to build in order to get to where I need to be. And so it's like trying to remember that when you're at the end of the day, you're like, I only spoke to like 3 clients this week. Like it doesn't feel great. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. But like I'm putting in all this energy to also get to that point. So it's like I think for both of us, it's like being easier on ourselves also because it's like
Yeah.
right, you can build a business. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to come, but it means that you need to start talking about it and get people to come.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of what the networking is, and again, the social media and newsletters and whatever else are we're working on it to make sure that people know who we are and why we can help them or how we can help them.
Can I just say, I think this whole conversation can be called "This is just the beginning." Like I felt like a mic drop just happened when you said that, was like, it is. That is what all of this is. It is just the beginning. And the just the beginning doesn't mean it's been a month or 3 months. Like that duration
Yeah.
is subjective entirely, right?
100%. Yeah.
So anyway, I think
That's
there's time,
That's how I
time.
feel, like, genuinely, like, even in life, like, I'm like, this is a whole new chapter in my life and career that, it's just the beginning of something that I didn't even know existed. I didn't know that this was a career path that I could take, but it was just something I was naturally doing for
Yes.
people and the people around me and just like strangers I would talk to about their business. And it's like, oh, like people will pay me to do these things or have these conversations, and I can support people in a way that like I'm working for myself. So it's like there's so many positives to it. So it's like, okay, I'm like, I found this passion that I'm like able to actually build a business around. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, this is like so cool to, build out loud and have these conversations with other like-minded people that, are also just at the beginning of this new chapter in their life, and really just getting going. And it's like, again, I'm like a proud mom being like, even every time you post stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. And like my clients and like all, lots of people around me that are just getting into more of like an independent role. And I think again, like with technology, there's like that I feel like a lot of the world is going in that direction. So it's like, why not support each other? Why not connect with other people that are experiencing certain things or similar things? And yeah, I truly feel like it's just getting started.
I feel like I'm a proud mama too.